Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's training. We're so excited to be here with you. Um, Give me a thumbs up or drop where you're joining from just so we know that you're here, whether you're watching us live, whether you're watching the replay, let us know that you're here. So, today we're actually talking about something I sit with almost every single session I have with so many high achieving women when we first start doing this work, right? And we're answering the question, how do you know the difference between anxiety and intuition? Because those two can feel very similar. Okay. And here's the thing, if you're with, or if you are somebody, somebody, let's just say somebody, or if you might be that person yourself who's actually built your entire life on trusting your gut. You have that intuitive nudge, you have that intuitive connection. Right? These are the women that I speak with that was just like, "Oh my gosh, I thought that this was my intuition the whole time." It turns out there was a miswiring, right? But if you're someone who's built your life on trusting your gut, on being the one who just knows, this question actually hits really different. So it's not just confusing, it's very disorienting when you have learned to trust your gut and then you realize, like, oh shit, maybe it has been anxiety. And that has happened so many times with the women that I start working with. Because the one thing that you've always trusted about yourself, your instincts, like your intuition, your instincts, and now that suddenly feels unreliable. So being able to recognize that this is you, and this is where it comes into where it's like, well, I've been trusting my gut, I've been trusting my intuition. Why aren't things happening the way that I know that they're meant to be happening? Why aren't things working out? So that's what we're heading towards. If this is you, stay tight, we're going to be getting into this. So here's a quick one before we dive in. Drop a like hands up in the comments if you've ever made a decision and then afterwards realize that you couldn't really tell whether it was fear or instinct driving you. And I just want to see who is really landing to, like, for. And even if you've had that experience, like I was saying, right, where it's just like being able to recognize, like, if you've ever been that one. So if you've ever made that decision and then afterwards it was like, did I make that out of fear or did I make that from like my intuition? Just drop a quick hand. Uh and here's the other question. If you've ever um had that experience where you are trusting your intuition or what you think is your intuition, and things just aren't working out the way that they maybe used to. Put a heart, right? So we have the hands up. If you have made that decision, like a decision, and you're like, wait, was that fear or intuition? Put a hands up. Put a heart if you are feeling like you are leading from intuition and things just aren't panning out the way that you think, right? Let us know. So, I want to start with a little story because I think it'll land more than me just sort of explaining the concept. So, a client came to me a while back, completely stuck. I mean, stuck in a way that she couldn't even really fully comprehend or explain because from the outside, it's like I'm doing all the right things. This is, me going back into, like, if you feel like you're doing all the right things and you're stuck. So she was doing everything right, right? She was trying to push her career, expand her career to the next level. And she was like looking for a house, everything. She's like, all these things used to work for me, right? So we'll get into that in a minute. But like when she started looking at, she's like, I'm trying to push my career to the next level. When she started unpacking it, what she was actually pushing towards, what we realized was actually more safety. Okay. She was looking for the secure job that made sense. She was looking for the path that looked responsible on paper. She was looking for the choice that nobody would actually question. Okay. So that's in her career. In her personal life, she was doing the exact same thing, like I said, with her house search. She was out there trying to make herself fit into what was available and what she thought was aligned with her, touring houses that were fine, that maybe check the boxes, instead of trusting that the home that she had envisioned for herself and her family was still out there just waiting for her. Okay. Does this sound familiar to anyone? Just drop a yes in the comments if you have ever tried to force yourself to fit into what was available, whether that be a job or a relationship, a house. Put a yes in the comments if you've ever tried to force yourself into that, instead of trusting that the real thing that you were looking for was still out there. Okay? Put it in the comments. I want to hear from you. So, what happened with this client as we worked together? Something really clicked for her. She realized that she had spent years operating from what we identify here in the Institute for Female Trailblazers as the high performer. Okay, this is an identity that has really served her, this high performer, the identity that pushes through discomfort, that really overrides that hesitation, that treats that urgency as a form of like competence, right? And somewhere along the way, that urgency had started sort of like dressing up, right? Put on the coat, looking real fine, as her intuition. She was following her anxiety and she was calling it intuition. So no wonder she felt stuck. She was actually steering her entire life by the wrong compass. And this is a highly intuitive, high functioning woman, high achiever, high performer. Okay. So here's why this happens and why it happens especially to women like the ones right in this room, right in this group, right, the people who are listening here. If you're high functioning, you are likely very trained somewhere along the way to override discomfort. And again, that has served you. You have been conditioned, you have been taught to push through, to treat the I feel something really urgent, right, as a call to action and to act on it immediately. Yes? Do you feel seen? Do you feel called out, maybe? So the problem is here that both anxiety and intuition can generate the same exact urgency, right? They can feel physically identical in the body, racing thoughts, tightness, a pull to decide now. So it's not that something's wrong with you if you can't tell them apart. It's that you were never really taught to look for the actual differences, subtle differences, because most of your life, urgency alone was enough to make you move. Okay. So here we go. Comment one or two. Here's a little poll for you. When you feel that urgent pull to decide something very fast, is it usually number one, a fear of what happens if you don't act? So when you feel that pull to decide something, like got to act on this, is it coming from number one, a fear of what happens if you don't act? Or number two, a calm, knowing that you're just scared to follow. So it's like basically this calm sense that I'm meant to follow this, but you're just scared to follow it. So is it fear of what happens if you don't act? Or is this calm feeling, but then there's the fear that arises after, right? The scared to follow. I don't know. I'm hoping that makes sense. So put a one or a two. Fear of what happens if I don't act. It's almost like FOMO, or this calm followed by a fear of actually following it. Those are just minor distinctions. The fear is still there. It's just where it's placed. Okay. So let's actually break down the differences as we're looking at this, right? The differences between intuition and anxiety, because that's what you're here for, right? I want to give you 4 different ways to tell them apart. And I want to show you what each one looked like for my client. Okay. So, number one distinction is timeline, right? So, get your pen and paper. I want you to write this down. Timeline. When we're looking at the timeline, anxiety is future focused. Okay. It loops. And for my client, it sounded like, well, what if I take this promotion and I'm still not happy? What if this is my last shot and I pick wrong? So her mind kept jumping forward, spinning out scenarios, right? Sort of just like looping and looping into different scenarios. Okay. That's anxiety. Intuition, on the other hand, is very present tense. When she pictured the house she'd actually envisioned, there was no future story attached immediately. It was just this quiet knowing this is right now. Okay. So, timeline is one way to decide to distinguish, right? Future focused, present focused. Future focused is anxiety, present focused is intuition. Now, I'm not saying that the other stuff doesn't like creep up afterwards, okay? But we're just talking about in this singular moment. The second distinguisher is the tone in which this information is offered to you. So, anxiety actually escalates the longer that you sit with it. Every week she stayed on the safe career path, this discomfort did not ease. It actually got louder, it got more urgent, it got more convincing. Like she needed to just pick something and move on. Like you just have to do something and moving through it, right? Intuition actually does not do that. Her pull toward the home she envisioned didn't get more frantic over time. The fear of not having it did, right? That's that anxiety of like the what we just talked about, the timeline, right? Intuition doesn't do that. Her pull toward the home, right, just stayed steady, quietly there. She knew deep down, this is intuition, deep down, right? It is out there. I know that it is. I know it is, right? So it's just steady, quietly there, whether she engaged with it or tried to ignore it, right? So that's the second, the tone in which these things are happening in your mind, right? So being able to look at this, I want you to drop like some sort of emoji, whether it's a fire, like something, right? If you've noticed that feeling getting louder and more panicked, the more you sit with that, right? That's usually a sign it's anxiety rather than intuition. The third distinguisher is the body. Okay, so here's where I want to be really honest with you and really clear with you. This one's not hard science, okay? It's not hard science, but it's definitely clinical experience. And it is more like psychology based. All right. There are some somatic, research and things like this, but here's the thing. Within anxiety, anxiety tends to sit high. So for her, and again, I want you to tune into your own body and you have to be really clear because, like I said, you can't just trust your gut because, our fear overrides that. But for her, it showed up as this tightness in her chest every time she toured a house that was just like available rather than hers. Like intuit, so that's the tightness in your chest. Intuition actually tends to land lower and way more still, like in your solar plexus. It's this like identity knowing, right? So being able to understand that intuition lands lower, it's stiller. So when she finally walked into the right one, she described it as just like this ease, this calm, this like just like settling into her body. There's nothing racing, right? Which is sometimes what we're looking for because that's actually misinformed. What we're looking for, like, oh, I should be excited, I should be this. That's actually anxiety. Intuition is calm, loving, steady. Okay. And then finally, the fourth differentiator, the fourth thing that we're looking for is the relationship to control. This is a big one. Anxiety wants to be very, very, very certain before it will let you move. Okay. So she noticed that she was demanding every box be checked before she felt safe and saying yes to anything. Guaranteed outcomes, no risk, total control. Okay. Intuition doesn't ask you to control the outcome, it just asks you to notice. So the house that she actually ended up buying, it did not check every single box in her original list. She just knew. She knew. No convincing required. Okay. So that's the shift. Once she could actually see these four differences playing out in real time, not just looking back in hindsight, like this was happening in real time, she was able to stop confusing the two. Okay. So comment which one of these four hit hardest for you. Was it the timeline, the tone, the body, the control? Put it in the comments. I want to know which one you're going to start noticing this week. Okay, put it in the comments. Again, whether you're here live, watching replay, please engage. This is your life. So, how do you actually use this in the moment? Here is a real simple pause that you can use next time you're feeling that urgency rise up. You want to name the situation. Or I'm sorry, not the situation, the sensation. Just notice it rather than judging it. So, what's the sensation that you're experiencing? Notice it without judging it. Just put it down. And then ask yourself one question. Is this asking me to control something? Or is it asking me to notice something? Those are two very different things. If it's asking you to control, to force an outcome, to get certainty right now, to eliminate every risk before you move, that is very likely anxiety. If it's asking you to notice, to pay attention, to stay with something quietly true, that's intuition. So this isn't, just so you know, this isn't a one-time realization. It's a muscle to build. The more you practice this pause, the clearer the signal gets. So here's what happened with my client to bring it full circle. Once she could actually tell the difference, once she reconnected with what real inspiration felt like, mentally, spiritually, energetically, everything shifted. And I'm talking it about in a matter of 3 weeks, everything shifted. She stopped forcing her career into the safe shape and let it unfold toward what exactly excited her. And she's going to be traveling to the East Coast. Like I can just, everything unfolded for her. Everything that she had imagined, it just didn't happen the way that she wanted to control it. Everything happened. And the house, she found it. Not a house that she talked herself into, one that she had been envisioning all along. She's moved into it and she is enjoying her deck that overlooks the water. It's amazing. So, this isn't about getting rid of anxiety. It's about no longer mistaking it for your inner compass to drive you. So, if this resonated with you, I really want to invite you to our next 5-day workshop, which is called Elevate. It is the 5 days to align with your next level life purpose. This is all in there, right? It goes even deeper. Reconnecting with your inspiration, reconnecting with your passion in every single form, mind, body, soul, it's all aligned so that you can start making decisions from inspiration, from intuition, from a deeper place of knowing that creates a foundation that is going to elevate you to that next level life purpose. So be sure to sign up. It's completely free. We start on August 3rd, and I am so excited. to see you there. Now, if you really want to take it to that next level, just comment ready. If you're not seeing where the link is, comment ready. If you're ready to start telling the difference between the two in your life, we will send you over the link to register for the free Elevate workshop that starts on August 3rd. We will send it directly to you. Okay, make it real easy for you. So that's the difference. I'm so excited to be here with you so that you can understand this difference, so you can start living in full alignment with your legacy, so you can change the world.